Hello, how are you doing? I hope that you're up for a nice beginning of a new semester here at an important class. My name is Fanny Caso Hernandez. I have a PhD in math. And my name is long, but I go by Dr. Fanny Hasso. So this video is to introduce you to some of the material and resources for our class, and also the contents of this video and the contents of our site are going to be included in your quiz zero. So your quiz zero is not about math at all, it's just to make sure that you are able to find information and resources throughout your course. So let's start. Who are we? The people at Emporium are a team. We all work, the tutoring staff, supervisors, instructors, and managers. And we all have the goal to give you support and to give you a great learning experience here at Emporium. And the classes here are a little bit different than what you are used to. So I'm going to explain to you also how we are planning on working and how we have a plan for you to succeed in this course. So I want you to know more about the Emporium people. So in this link, you are going to see some of the people that work here. Okay, so if you visit our site and you click on About Us, you will find ways of contacting different people that work here. So our managers, the floor supervisors, instructors, here's my information, and other staff that we have, wonderful staff. And also you can click on different places here to see news about the Emporium, where to find us, and also how we work. So in particular, a way to finding me is, or to get in touch with me, is via email. And also I'm going to have Zoom sessions. The hours are listed in our site, and I'll give you a tour to our site in a moment. And this is the link for that. So this is our site. You want to visit this pretty much every day, but if it's impossible, at least 3 times a week, very often. You really want to visit this very often. Here you have all the information that you need to know about our course. For example, this main page changes weekly, and I give you a reminder of the upcoming deadlines. So for example, this week, the first week of classes, you have a pre-orientation survey on Canvas. You also have a quiz 0 and a quiz 1 that covers the first part of our material, modules 1.1 and 1.2. If you go to this column, you have information about the course. So this is basically our policy sheet. And you will find information about resources, how we compute your grade. By the way, we don't round. This is exactly the table that we use to compute grades, and that's about it. We also have information about your quizzes, your exams, etc. And we actually have more details about quizzes and exams here. You can also, and you really want to visit this schedule often, in this schedule, what you can see is a layout of all the course deadlines. And I strongly suggest you to take your exams and quizzes earlier than the indicated date right here. One of the things that you are going to see is, yeah, you see this deadline here, but the sooner you plan to take this, the better you have chances to do great in this course. And also you will have the time to ask us for questions and get anything resolved to do great in these assessments. And you will have your quizzes and exams available with enough time so that you actually could finish with the material in the semester way ahead of time. So if you go before these deadlines, you could even finish this course by mid-October. And that will be great because then you'll have time to focus on the rest of your courses and do great. So how are we going to work in a daily basis for your course? So the system at Emporium is based on you having the lead on the learning process. So what you're going to do is you want to make out of this a routine. You want to look up your class schedule and decide what are you going to work on, like your upcoming quiz, or you're ahead, and then you're taking I don't know, the quiz that is due in a couple of weeks. So then you look up in the schedule and you're going to see what units does it cover. Then you want to go and read our online text. I'll show you in a moment where to find that. And look over examples. And once that you have a good grasp of the material, then go and practice problems. We have that the practice problems that you're already having access to, those are the same pool of problems that you're going to have in your tests and quizzes. So if you start working on your practice problems, that means that you're already studying for your quizzes and for your tests, because like I said, it's the same pool that you have there. Your practice problems are going to be slightly more challenging than the examples that you see in your textbook. That's fine. Your first step should be to be able to work on your own on the example problems, and then you want to move to the practice problems. The key thing for you to know when you're ready to take your quizzes or tests is that when you look at the practice problems corresponding to the material for the quiz, you want to be able to solve on your own correctly 30 problems. So where do I get this number? Our data shows that the students that have gotten A's, they practice on average up to this number. So they count how many correct problems have I got. 30, they are ready, and they do great in the exam and quizzes. So you want to be one of these people, right? Once that you're ready with your practice problems, then you go to the test, quiz and testing system, and that's where you're going to take the formal tests and quizzes. So here's a reminder of the steps that I would like you to make a habit. So go look at your textbook, work on your practice problems, and this actually is an active link for you to go to the system, and also seek for help to address your questions. So let me click on this one so you see how the practice problem portal looks like. So here you have access to your practice problems, and when you're ready, you have the quiz and test system. So let me click on here. And I'm already logged in, but if you're not logged in, it's going to ask you your usual Hockey PID. Just the same information that you use for your Gmail account at Virginia Tech. So you can choose to practice a particular problem, or you can just go and say practice quiz blah blah blah. So here's the number of quiz. Now if you notice here, you have all the quizzes except for quiz 0, and that's because quiz 0 is based on the material that I'm explaining to you currently. It's not based on mathematical content. The quizzes listed here are the ones based on mathematical content. So say I want to practice quiz 1, I get a problem after, of course, I read the material in our textbook, and I can start solving my practice questions. Again, these are the questions, the same pool of questions that you're getting in your quizzes and exams. And I mentioned about our textbook or online text. You can have access to these all the time. So click on that, please, and you'll see our course. And here we have 4 units. The first one that is material for your first quiz, consists of sections or units 1.1 and 1.2. So you want to start reading these before the end of your first week of classes. So I was mentioning that we are going to help you with any of your questions, and you have, like I said, a team of people that are going to help you. You have your teacher, and you also have your peer tutors that are going to help you. Your peer tutors are going to be available this term through Zoom, and when you request the help from any of us, you should expect to have a conversation with us. We usually don't just go and solve the problem for you. What we do is we ask you, how are you doing? What have you gotten to identify? How we can help you and give you little pushes so you can move into the next step. And when we see that you're ready for the next step, we'll let you go and just let you continue with the process of learning. Okay? Um, in addition to that, I am going to help you also by posting videos like this one that will help you to solve some of the most common problems that I have identified. You can also email me and request some explanation in problems. We are based on problems, so I'm usually going to actually work on pieces of problems or focus on these kind of things. So don't expect from me a lecture. What you really should expect is me leading you towards how can you better solve these problems. So you might be wondering, how am I going to get my grade for this course? And you're basically going to have two ways of being assessed. So these are the only two things that are going to count towards your final grade. And those are going to be your exams and quizzes. So for quizzes, you're going to have surveys that count as quizzes, and you're going to have 14 quizzes that are based on mathematical content. And out of these, so it's going to be a total of 17 quizzes, and only the highest 12 grades are going to count towards your final grade. So it means that you have flexibility of 5. I strongly suggest you not to just use those 5 chances lightly. Just use them for emergencies or last minute things, because that's a way for you to make sure that you're going to get a good grade. If you use this flexibility too early, you might need it at the end of the semester. So the other thing is you have your exams. And for your exams, if you miss one of these, you will get a 0. There is no way of making up for this. But the final exam does substitute your lowest test score if it's beneficial for you at the end of the semester. So if you want to know more information, and you really want to know more information about this, we want to go and click on our site again and review this information. Okay, so if you go to our site, you have more specific information about your exams. Here is information when you're getting ready to take your exam. The deadline that shows up in the testing system is the last moment when you can start your exam. But like I said before, you don't want to get that moment. You really want to take your exam way ahead of that deadline that is shown in there. There is also some information about the browser windows that you should have open. I'm going to give you a reminder soon about this, but you really want to read all of this. Here are the dates of your exams. And here's how things are going to be enforced. If you're wondering about quizzes, more details about what I have mentioned are here. Here you have again links to the practice problem system, and when you're ready you can just click also here in the quiz and test system. And also more recommendations here about how to take those quizzes and exams. Okay, so when you take a quiz or test, and this information is also in that site that I show you, but I really want to make sure that you don't overlook this one, is once that you're in the quiz and test system, so once that you click when you're ready to take your exam or quiz, you need to be careful with the navigation. So you don't want to use the back and forward button. Instead, just click on the links inside of the system that help you to navigate to the next question or to the previous ones. You can also save your work, so that would be important because if there is anything, your work is saved there, and you can continue. But also, you don't want to be inactive working on any of these assessments in your quizzes or tests for over 45 minutes. You do not have a limit of time, except for if you're idle for 45 minutes or longer, the system blocks, and then you're not going to be able to continue. The system just grades whatever you have saved. That's the importance of saving your work. And that's a grade that is going to be displayed in the system that I'm going to use. You also don't want to be logged into both the practice problem system and the quiz and test system, because if you do that, you're going to have problems with the navigation, and you might lose your chance of taking your quiz or exam. So once that you're done practicing, close the system and then open only the quiz and testing system when you're ready. The other technical things that you need to have in mind when you're taking your exams and quizzes is you really want Firefox or Safari, their current versions, for the display to function correctly. Do not, please, don't take your quizzes or tests on your phone. You really want to sit down, feel comfortable, take your time to answer everything correctly. And this is important too. This is part of the honor code, so I might remind you about this later as well. But you want to just, you can use a calculator that is a non-programmable scientific calculator. You can use the online textbook. That window can be open, and you can use your own notes. Other than that, using any other resources, any external help, even asking somebody else for help, that is a violation of the honor code. And one more reminder, how do you know what's coming or what you have to work on? You can check your deadline in the schedule, the part of the schedule in our site, but also the precise deadline is always displayed in your test and quiz system, or quiz and test system. That's going to show up on the right of the link for your quiz and exam that are already available for you. Okay, about the honor code. We have a text that tells you more details about the honor code. I strongly recommend you to go and click on this link. I'll show it to you in a moment. But there are two things that I want you to remember at all times about the honor code. You may not give or receive unauthorized aid, assistance, or anything that would constitute an unfair advantage to your peers or to you. And remember that when you're taking your quizzes or exams, you may only use your notes, a calculator with these characteristics, and our online textbook. So if you want to read more, and like I said, you do want to read more, in your Quiz Zero you'll have to read more about the honor code, click on this link, please. How do you find your honor code if the honor code text, if you don't have the link that I gave you? Go to exams or quizzes, go to the bottom, you have some text there, but you also have a link there to the general honor code, and you can read also what we have for specifically for this course. Okay, so we're ready to start with working with for this course. What do you have to do for this week? You have the pre-orientation survey that is available for you now. Once that the Canvas site is active, you can take that, and it's before, you want to take it before this Saturday, August 29th. Then you have your Quiz Zero based on this material that I've been presenting for you. Make sure that you do click on the links and read the material in our site. And then you also have your first quiz before this Friday. Quizzes are do most of the Fridays except for one that is before fall break. Um, and this will cover modules 1.1 and 1.2. I showed you this earlier in the textbook, so make sure that you go there and start reading. Good luck in this course. I'll be available for you, so I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.